I'm Brian DiMarco. This is my colleague Matt Gordon. Today we're going to talk about cash versus accrual accounting. Matt, can you tell us a little bit about both, what the difference is?
Yeah, so let's start off with the cash basis of accounting. Cash basis, income and expenses are recognized when cash either comes in or cash goes out the door. On an accrual basis, however, cash isn't required to exchange hands for either expenses or income to be recognized. Essentially, on an accrual basis, if I invoice the customer, I'm going to recognize that revenue in the current month, as opposed to a cash basis where I actually need to receive that payment to recognize the revenue.
Okay, and then is it similar on the expense side? So if I get the bill, but I don't pay it, am I recognizing that expense?
Exactly. On an accrual basis, you would recognize that expense, but on a cash basis, you would not recognize that expense until the cash goes out of your bank account.
Okay, and out of these two accounting styles, what do you recommend?
We would recommend an accrual basis for management purposes, and the reason for that is on an accrual basis, it allows us to match up our income with our cost of producing that income a little bit better, right? We want to record our revenue when it's invoiced, right? In the month of production, right? To match it up with our expenses incurred during that month. If we don't receive the cash for that month, we won't recognize any revenue, but we might have some expenses. So how are we going to know how much it costs us to produce that revenue?
That makes sense, because I've heard clients talk about this before, especially on the lawn side. If they get prepayments, they get a bunch of money in. So how does that work on an accrual basis?
So on an accrual basis, again, you would only recognize that revenue when you perform a service, when you invoice the customer, right? Just because you receive the cash doesn't necessarily mean you earn that revenue.
Okay, understood. And what about taxes? So if I'm paying taxes on a cash basis, can I still use accrual as an accounting method?
Yes, absolutely. A ton of our clients are on a cash basis for taxes, but we have them on an accrual basis for management purposes. It's a pretty simple conversion to get you from an accrual to a cash basis to prepare your tax return.
Okay, thank you. Very helpful.
Yeah.